Hello and welcome to today's video. Today we are here and we're going to take a look at all the throwback schemes for the Darlington race this weekend. I absolutely love the throwback theme for Darlington. And I actually talk about that a little bit in the upcoming video where we race the Southern 500 on video as we do every week, previewing each race. And I just talk about how much I love it. And for me, I'm really interested in history. History is something that's really just cool to me. And for things that I'm really into, like NASCAR, just knowing the history and seeing that is really, really cool for me. And again, for my love of history, I have a calendar here with history on it for every day. So, you know, we do that. We stand. So, as the kids say. So we're gonna take a look here at each throwback, and we're gonna look a little bit on the NASCAR website, and NBC here is actually shown more of the information about what each one is. This is just more a paint scheme preview. So first we got Quinn Houff with the Permatex car, and then it shows you a little bit more here, really telling you what Permatex is and how it was used back in 1936. So sort of just show that on there, the inspiration on it, and I think it looks really cool. It's a very interesting design. I'm sure this car will be crashed by midway through, but it's cool. So next we got Brad Keselowski's car. Now this one here is the championship car from 2010 in the Xfinity Series. I mean, it's alright. I think that it's an okay scheme. I mean, Discount Tire typically does a white car anyways with red. So it's not really different. I think that this here worked because this line really went well over that Dodge body back from the older cars, but it looks kind of weird here. Not the biggest fan of that one. Here we go, Austin Dillon. This one here looks pretty cool from the side. We can get a better view here. And I like when they show what the old car looks like. So this is the Junior Johnson tribute here, and I think this is really, really cool. I love just the way that they did the paint. You know, it looks very similar. Here it says Holly Farm, it looks like it says on it. So that's really cool. The same way of painting the 3. It says Chevrolet there, so they have it down there on it. I think this looks really awesome. They did a really, really good job on this car. And I love when they do like this with the either the sponsorship or saying how much horsepower the engine has, and I hope we'll see more throughout this. I really love that. So up next, you have the Busch beer. Now Busch always does an amazing job with paint schemes. So being a fan of Kevin Harvick, I have quite the collection of cars in the box. I buy the 164 because I don't have that kind of money to buy 124s, but the 164, like, I have so many of those Kevin Harvick ones, and I've pre-ordered I think every paint scheme from this season that he's ran. That's like a special one because it's so cool because Busch always does a great job, and I'm really, really like super excited when I saw this one. This here's the throwback to the old Busch logo, and right on the back of it having the Busch Championship for 2001, 2006, the years that Kevin Harvick won when it was called the Busch Series before it became Xfinity, or before it became Nationwide, now Xfinity. And it's such a cool look, and it's cool that they're doing the 1997 like cans around Darlington for the race weekend. I think this is just a cool scheme. Using the old Busch logo is really, really awesome. Big fan of the Busch one. Definitely pre-ordered that one like right when I saw that came out. Next up, we have Ryan Newman. I didn't really get it, but once I read here that it's a USAC car, and there's sort of a painting of it on the thing. I mean, it's Ryan Newman. I like that Roush uses their old logo, Roush Racing back in the day. I mean, Ryan Newman's kind of boring to me. I think it goes good with Oscar Mayer, and it's orange and blue, which you can't tell. Orange is one of my favorite colors, or is my favorite color. I have my whole room painted it. Everything I did. Orange is my favorite color, but I think the car looks great. But okay, I'm gonna admit I like the car. I really can't not. Number 6 is one of the numbers I really like. I like to race that in different series, so different video games when I can, which I can't anymore in any game. But when I could in F1, I always ran number 6 last season towards the second half of the game, and I like this car. I may have to buy it. Up next, we have Tyler Reddick. This one here is kind of wild. I do like this one. Oh, actually, next we have Josh Bilicki. That's not on the NASCAR website. So this is Josh Bilicki, Tommy Baldwin Sr. And this is a really, really cool car. It's just based off of getting Tommy Baldwin Sr. car. He had number 7 in his racing of those cars. And I think they did a really cool job with the yellow on it, and it just looks it looks pretty cool. Kind of basic, but kind of cool at the same time. All right, so next we have Tyler Reddick, which we saw here from the side. And it's cool. NBC's also using their old logo. I love when they just use the old logos. It's so cool. NBC had their old the peacock on the little microphone when they were interviewing drivers last season, and actually a lot of the seasons. It was pretty cool. So this is throwback to Jeff Burton in 1994 when he won Rookie of the Year. So it's pretty cool. It'd be cool if we could see this car here in color, but I'm assuming it's just this, which is really cool that he's brought by some of these interesting colors. And it'll be cool. Jeff Burton will be obviously announcing for that race. It was sort of cool to have him announcing and have a throwback to his team on the track. It's cool when the people that, were in media or just there get to sort of see their throwback schemes on the track of something that they used to race. All right, number 9, Chase Elliott. This one here is really cool. I had it mixed up when I said which one it was previously. This is his 2009 championship. I had the 2 backwards, but really, really cool. It's cool to see the paint schemes back on the track because I remember these schemes like when I was 10, watching this originally go around the track and having the little die cast of that car, probably in a box there in my closet, the car tomorrow with that on it. And it's just really cool to see a paint scheme like that back on the track and to honor Jimmy Johnson as well. So we'll go here because it's not up to date. Or some of them are announcing their schemes. It's just not on the NASCAR site at the moment or when they put that article out. So this here is the Fireball Roberts car. And it's pretty cool. Just sort of throwback, you can see it in the back there. Cool to do a little throwback to that. Both Fireball Roberts being from Florida, like Eric Almirola is. It's cool that they made that connection to the cars as well. And this one I'm talking about right here, 550 horsepower right there on it. Are they running 550 horsepower at Darlington? Ooh. But yeah, you can see like right there. That's a cool design like I was talking about earlier. So next up is Denny Hamlin. With the Federal Express, which is kind of cool that I learned that FedEx used to be called Federal Express. I never knew that until I saw this. So that was kind of little interesting thing there when I saw that got announced. But Federal Express paint scheme here, and it's cool because there's a connection to Cale Yarborough winning in 1973 at Darlington with number 11 to do that throwback to it. Seeing the actual image, they don't have it here, but seeing the actual car that it's based off of, it's a little bit weird. Again, doing the number and the lines that way, but the colors don't really match up. So next up is Ryan Blaney. I really like this here with 3 different colored lines on it. This here is a throwback to Paul Menard in the ARCA series in 2003. Interesting. Of course, Menards sponsors the car, so why not do a throwback to Paul Menard? I think it's cool. Interesting to do a throwback to Paul Menard. Especially, it's weird. I guess not weird, but it's interesting when these drivers like pull from their time that wasn't necessarily in the Cup Series, or not their time, but another driver's time. But typically, when it's a lower level, it is from themselves, like you've seen with Ryan Newman or Denny Hamlin a few years ago, maybe last year, I don't know, pulling from themselves back when they were in a lower series, but it's sponsored by Paul Menard, or sponsored by Menard, so you could see the connection there. All right, next up, we got Clint Bowyer here. He's doing a throwback to Kyle Petty. So this is now, of course, NBC isn't gonna make a note that NBC's analyst, but throwback to probably better analyst than driver Kyle Petty. And let's see. Oh, this is the exact same scheme with the same sponsor too. That's really cool to throw the same sponsor with the same paint scheme. This is one that Kyle Petty won at Rockingham. Okay, so one of Kyle Petty's 8 wins came with this paint scheme, which is kind of cool. It looks nice. I like the pink and the blue. Pink's another color that I stand. So pink and blue on a car looks really nice together. Big fan of that one for sure. This here's Brennan Poole. Again, another driver that will probably crash before the halfway point. This is a throwback to Ricky Rudd. So this one here, so it says it's a Budmore. This is the old car is, and Budmore is decorated D-Day infantryman, and this scheme honors them and the men and women who protected this country. So that's pretty cool. I really like that. Of course, these sponsors remember everyone deployed. So that's sort of a cool little connection there between the sponsor and former car owner when this was a obviously paint scheme, and I think it's an interesting little combination there. I do like it. That's just in there. That's not part of throwbacks. All right, let's see. Kyle Busch. So this is a throwback to Elliott Sadler, 2004. It's okay. Kyle Busch has had better M&M paint schemes than this himself when he drove the car, but it's interesting, I guess. Don't have much to say about it. The paint schemes this year really haven't been that impressive to me. I mean, looking back so far, I really like the 3, the 4, the 6, the 9. I like those ones. Those are the ones that really stood out to me so far. Looking back next, though, or the next one that we're going to look at here. This is... Oh, they do have the little thing here that says playoffs on it. Below versus Cup Series. Okay, cool. They didn't make that logo to have the championships, though, for how many drivers win it. So this should say, champion underneath it, like they have on the fire suit. Either way. Martin Truex basically just looked at the one he ran last year. It's... I don't know. It's okay, but again, it looks basically the same as last year's. I guess it's supposed to be different, but it looks damn near identical to the paint scheme that he ran in 2019. Now, this one's disappointing. Oh, they don't have the picture. Okay. NBC doesn't have the picture on that one. This is Eric Jones throwback. It's supposed to be a throwback to Tony Stewart. I was disappointed when I seen this. For myself, being a fan of Tony Stewart, since I was little, I've always been a fan of Tony Stewart and Kevin Harvick. Those are one of my favorite 2 drivers my entire life. And to look at this, it didn't speak, this is a Tony Stewart throwback to me at all. It's a throwback to a paint scheme that Tony Stewart ran, I believe, in 2005 in Martinsville, is what I saw. And this here was the color, was gray, but this was orange on the side. So if you're going to do a throwback to the 20 car with Tony Stewart, you got to at least have the orange. Orange, number 20 with Home Depot. That's Tony Stewart. If you put orange on this, I would say, okay, it's a Tony Stewart throwback. But just to do it in red for sports clips tells me that this is not a Tony Stewart throwback. It just isn't. In my mind, that does not look like a Tony Stewart throwback. And it's really weird, like, I don't know, the 20 car used to be, like, iconic with one number one sponsorship, and now there's just so many. It's just weird. I liked when it had Dollar General, though. It looked nice. But getting distracted again. This year's Matt DiBenedetto's. This is throwback here to Old Wood Brothers paint scheme. I think it was cool. Again, kind of basic, kind of on the edge of not one that I find as cool, but it's still interesting. So it's okay. Next up, we have Joey Logano. This here's a throwback to Bobby Allison. It would have been kind of cool if they would have gotten to have Miller as a sponsor, because that, like, sponsors one race or whatever now. The 2 cars, so it'd be kind of cool if they could get this on the 2 car, or at least, get the sponsorship to come over to the 22 or something. That'd be kind of cool. It would have looked a little better. Getting the yellow star does make it sort of say, okay, it's a different sponsor, different design, which I kind of do like. The little yellow outline on that, actually. I think that if you didn't have these logos here on the star, it would really, really shout, this is who the sponsor, like, this is who the throwback is to. I think that this sort of takes away. And we can really see that well here. Having Discount Tire and AAA on it really sort of hides more the star. But besides that, I think it's an interesting paint scheme. All right, so next up here, William Byron with the Liberty University car, which I think that this works really, really well with Liberty University's colors. So I think that it goes nice together in general. But this here's a throwback to Jimmy Johnson's 2013 All-Star Race win. I mean, it doesn't necessarily say Jimmy Johnson like the other 2 Jimmy Johnson throwbacks that we've seen. One of them that we've seen and one we're going to see later on with Alex Bowman's. But it's okay. I think it looks good. Again, with Liberty University, it goes well together. Next up, we got J.J. Yeley here, number 27. This is the Kenny Irwin Jr. car. Throwback to that looking car. I mean, it's interesting. It definitely says this is a 90s car, which I love that, like, this design. Honestly, I wasn't necessarily the biggest fan when I first saw it, but, like, looking at it more, and the side doesn't do it justice. Looking at it from this angle here, get the slightly at an angle, like, that just, like, says this is a 90s design. You see, like, the little dots and everything. 90s, and they just had such good design in the 90s, bro. All right, next up. Is there another number between there? There is. Okay. So John Hunter Nemechek here. This is bland as hell, dude. This is a throwback to Elliott Zettler's Sitco scheme. Okay. Man, I find John Hunter Nemechek kind of lame. I find this scheme absolutely ridiculous, dude. What is this? I think if you had, like, the Sitco logo on the hood, it'd be kind of cool, but Sitguard, which I guess it says oil, so I'm assuming that's Sitco's oil, kind of like Mobil 1 is Mobil's oil. And you got Pennzoil, which is shells. So I think that's what Sitguard's supposed to be. I didn't know that they still did Sitco gas, but either way, it's not brilliant. It's a red car. It's honestly, let's be honest here, it's a red car with different font. That's one of the lamest. Us in here, Cole Custer's throwback. This one's really cool. Curtis Turner here. This is a good one. Winner of the 1956 Southern 500. And I think that, again, having the the numbers like on the hood of that, like the old amount of whatever it said. What is that? Does it say CL? Yeah, I guess that's what it says. So like having the numbers on the hood for like the power that the engine has is really really cool design, and I like the little details there. Let's say where they're from on the side of it, maybe. All right, so next you get to Bubba Wallace. This is a really interesting one. I kind of forgot. I watched a video about this, but this is a very interesting scheme here. This is a throwback to Richard Petty when he crashed his car in practice, and then he borrowed the number 6 car back in 1986, put STP on it. Basically, back then they used to be able to buy a ride, basically. You know, your sponsor comes in and gives a little money to the team, and you say, okay, I'm going to drive your car, kind of thing. I watched a video about that, and it was very interesting. And it's a unique throwback there to that. So the cash out coloring also works very well, being, you know, green and white, the car being green and white. Interesting little throwback. It doesn't stand out as like a super iconic throwback, or like something I'd probably go buy the diecast of, but I do like it. That one just got announced more recently, actually. All right, next up, this one here is one that I did buy the diecast of right away. Jimmy Johnson's throwback here. I love it. I think it's such a cool design for him to go with the partial Richard Petty, partial Dale Earnhardt design. It just works for the purpose that it is. It looks absolutely like a yikes, but at the same time, it just looks like I know what's happening here, and it's awesome. You have the black, and you have the silver, and you have the number at the right angle there and on the car, and it just looks great there. And then you have the top, the Richard Petty combination, and this, like, just seeing these colors, like if you showed these colors, anybody would be like, oh, I know who that is as a driver. The top part and the side part, like, you know those colors, and you know, like, that. And to have it driven by the other 7-time champion, Jimmy Johnson, with his number on it, it kind of just works together. And I like it. A lot of people say, oh, it's ugly, but I think it's really cool. And I like what they're doing with it. All right, next up is Joey Gase. Not somebody I think I've ever said their name of in a YouTube video before. Joey Gase here. This is a... Oh, this is the same tribute that Tony Stewart did in 2016. Okay. It looks kind of cool. I like it. If we click this, it's going to show us what it looked like when Tony Stewart did it. There it is. Yes. I was like, I feel like this is a scheme I saw before. Okay. That's really cool. It's interesting we're getting to the point where we're doing repetitive throwbacks, but it's cool. I like it. This is throwback to Bobby Wilson's 1971 win. It's in the 500. I think Tony Stewart is a little bit more interesting because it had the same sponsorship with Coca-Cola, but this is still very, very cool. Next up, we have James Davison, who I never heard of until they crashed in, or till he crashed in Daytona the other day. This is a throwback to IndyCar NASCAR driver Tom Sneva. Never heard of them. That's a throwback to them. I don't know much to say on it. Again, it's a red car. It's not really exciting to me. Next, though, we have Timmy Hill. This is a throwback to Phil Parsons, 1984 Skull Bandit scheme. Look at that. That's awesome. Got the little flame there. Got the little bandit on the hood. That is a very, very cool scheme. Now, one thing that's a little off topic, but I want to know why in NASCAR Heat 5, Timmy Hill, number 66 car, is a Ford and not a Toyota. Just to throw that out there. But back to this car. This looks really, really cool, and I am a big fan of this design. All right. We have Ross Chastain here, Dirty Mo Media, with Dale Jr.'s media company on there, which is kind of cool, especially with the connection here, being that it's a Dale Earnhardt scheme in his early career. I think it's kind of cool, kind of unique. I'm sure there's plenty of diecast of it by the fact that it's a Dale Earnhardt throwback scheme with Dale Jr. sponsor on it. But either way, I think it's a really interesting, unique design. Next up is Alex Bowman again. Same kind of thing I was talking about with the 9 car, just being a paint scheme that I remember seeing a little bit and playing with the car of that scheme when I was 7. It has that connection to Jimmy Johnson, like growing up seeing Jimmy Johnson win 5 championships in a row, and this just has a connection to it. Not as much as 2009 because I was younger when this paint scheme here, but definitely cool either way, and there's still that connection there. Now we get into the really lame ones, or at least 2 really lame ones in a row. Christopher Bell throwing back to himself from 2017. I mean, are you serious, dude? Like, I don't know. I think that doing a throwback to yourself when you won a truck championship 3 years ago is a little much. But, you know, and I'm pretty sure they still run a scheme very similar to this in the truck series. So, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I think it's okay if you're going to do it, whatever. I don't really care that much, but yikes, dude. But this is where we get to an even more of a yikes. This here is the Aris, now CommScope Toyota. Did they change their name or some shit? I don't know. Either way, here it is. Daniel Suarez throwing back to himself from 2016. Now, I don't remember Daniel Suarez winning the championship in 2016. Be honest, I didn't really watch the Xfinity Series in 2016 that much. But I'm not going to lie. I was scrolling through this yesterday. And I was showing my parents as well. And we're just looking at all of them. And I'm like, is this a Carl Edwards throwback? Like, I thought they were throwing back to like Carl Edwards in 2016 or something. I didn't even realize it was a Daniel Suarez car. Like, I don't think many people are going to look at this and say, first of all, it's a throwback. And second of all, that is a Daniel Suarez throwback. I think most people are going to look at it and say, Carl Edwards throwback, or Carl Edwards still used paint scheme. Not Carl Edwards still used, but, you know, still used paint scheme that looks like a Carl Edwards paint scheme from 4 years ago. It also looks weird having the 96. This looks like it had to have 19 on it. But either way, not the biggest fan of that one. So now we're getting to the Xfinity Series, but first I just want to go over really which ones I like the most. I like the 88. Big fan of that one. 48. What else we got? 9, 6, 4, and 3. Like, this year didn't really do it for me. I think other years we've had better throwbacks. This season was kind of like, I mean, there's more, but it hasn't really stood out to me that much this season. I'm not going to lie. Xfinity Series, alright, so we're going to start with Jeffrey Earnhardt. I mean, it's cool. It's kind of bland. But whatever. Next, Brett Moffitt. This is a throwback to Mike Stefanski. Throwback here. Again, it's okay. It doesn't really stand out to me that much. Michael Annette. With this Oreo paint scheme, though, we have to talk about this. Now this is a throwback paint scheme. Throwback to Dale Earnhardt Jr. And it is the paint scheme that Dale Earnhardt Jr. won 2002 Xfinity Series opener at Daytona. And this is just one of those Xfinity Series paint schemes that stands out to you. Or back when it first raced Busch. Like, this is just one of those paint schemes that you're just like, it's just so good. I don't know, like, everybody loves it, and I don't really know why. But I don't know if it's a little bit of milk on the bottom from the Oreo, like, hitting it or what. But it just looks so good. The blue with a little bit of white. Everything just looks so good on this car. I love it. I think this is one of the best paint schemes and one of the best years, especially for the Xfinity Series. Again, they don't make as big of a deal about the Xfinity Series doing throwback weekends. Oh, they ordered this the opposite. Okay. Get another really good. Oh, what? This one here, Ryan Vargas. Throwback to an old Jimmy Johnson paint scheme. Okay. You can honor Jimmy Johnson. It's kind of cool. Again, it doesn't really stand out that much, but again, it's cool either way to see more Jimmy Johnson throwbacks. 2001, that says. This is Jimmy Johnson's Xfinity Series car, of course. Oh, his first win. Doesn't Jimmy Johnson only have like 1 or 2 wins in the Xfinity Series? Isn't he garbage in that? But it's cool. Again, it doesn't really say Jimmy Johnson like as people know him as a driver, but again, for Ryan Vargas, it says that he grew up in California, so that's sort of big Jimmy Johnson fan there. So that's cool for him to race a Jimmy Johnson paint scheme, especially it works to run a old Busch Series paint scheme in the Xfinity Series. This one here is really cool. This is the Junior Motorsports car from 2003 with the Junior Motorsports logo on the hood of it here. Obviously, it's not going to have it on this car, but it's quite cool with the little like orange flames on it. It's a cool look for sure. Next up, Daniel Hemrick with a Poppy Bank. It's a John Andretti throwback based on Kmart Little Caesars Andretti paint scheme from 1995 and 1996. I did not know Little Caesars sponsored NASCAR back in the 90s, but that's interesting. I like it. It's a cool combination of pink and or purple and orange. I showed my mom when I told her this is like our Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons. More retro here. We got Joe Graff Jr. This is a throwback to Elliott Sadler, I guess. We got Bucked Up Energy. Is that like redneck energy drinks? I'm assuming it is. I'm assuming it's like a redneck Red Bull. Which I would be all about. But I have not seen it anywhere. But it's cool. I like it. It's kind of basic, kind of bland, but I like the designs inside of it. Alright, so this here is a Dolphins Dan Marino throwback, Dan Marino's race team. So Elliott Marino Motorsports driver Jerry Nadeau, and it's pretty cool to see this one here for Chad Fincher. It's a cool little design. And you got the Dolphins colors, which are very, very nice colors. And then, you get the 13 on it, Dan Marino's number. So it's just a good combination. I think it's a pretty cool looking paint scheme there. I don't know why these are in here, but they are. Now, is that a throwback? That's not a throwback. That's just a paint scheme. This is a throwback, though. So this is Harrison Burton with a Jeff Burton throwback. Again, this is cool, like I was saying earlier. And it's really cool that Jeff Burton gets to see a throwback of his own old paint scheme driven by his son when he's announcing. But it doesn't say any more details about what Jeff Burton paint scheme this is. Let's see. Oh, we're doing a Kevin Harvick paint scheme here. Okay, I don't know what this one was. I didn't know. I didn't really follow the Xfinity Series back in the day. I'm not gonna lie. But okay, this is a throwback to the Coast Guard paint scheme. Okay, I do remember this a little bit from Kevin Harvick's 2006 run of the championship, and it's cool. Same number too. That's really nice. I do like it. It's an interesting paint scheme. So this here is this one. They're back to the 80s. Okay. Kyle Weatherman is thrown back to a cop car. I get it. That's his whole thing, is the police on the cars. But it's not really a race car. That's my thing with the scheme, is it's not a race car that it's based off of. That's like the whole point of the throwbacks, is based off of a race car or like an era, and just to say I'm painting it off of a cop car from a TV show, like, okay. This one, I think, is really, really cool. I love the addition to having old drivers' pictures on the side of the car. You got Buck Baker, David Pearson, Kelly Yarbrough. Okay, I knew two of them were Kelly Yarbrough and David Pearson. You got Samard and Larry Pearson as well. Those are drivers from South Carolina, where Jeremy Clemens is from. I think this is a really, really cool paint scheme. I love that idea of putting the old drivers on it, and one's from his home state. We got Stephen Leggett. I don't know what his name is. Stephen Leggett. I don't get this tweet. I don't get what the paint scheme is. Oh, it's supposed to be throwback to Carl Long. Okay, cool. Brandon Brown, throwback to Janet Guthrie. That's cool. I like it. Stars inside of it. It's pretty cool. Obviously, Janet Guthrie is very important to getting women involved in racing. Being the first female to qualify for the 500 and Indy 500, of course. One of the most successful women in racing. And one of the most successful women in NASCAR, specifically. So, very cool to see that. All right. This is Matt Snyder, throwback to Jimmy Llewellyn from that type of car. That's kind of cool. I mean, it's kind of basic. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it's interesting nonetheless. Now, this here, I believe, is the best Xfinity Series paint scheme throwback. This here is, of course, the throwback to one of my favorite drivers. Oh, we didn't see this one on the website real quick. Let's do that. Denny Hamlin's throwback here. Not really sure what it's thrown back to. Cool. All right, this one here. This is the last time we're going to go on the NASCAR website. They don't have it in the trucks. We do have more trucks to look at. This paint scheme, throwback to 2011, Tony Stewart's championship. This absolutely looks brilliant. And honestly, the Xfinity cars still look like the old, or the kind of redesigned car Tomorrow body. I believe they're still kind of based off of that. So it has that look, especially with the Mustangs. It looks, honestly, very, very similar to that Impala did there in 2011. The body style on the Xfinity car compared to the car Tomorrow back then. It's just awesome. Or it wasn't called Car Tomorrow, it was called the 5th gen car by that time, but still. I know it's the car tomorrow. That was my favorite body style of car was that 2007, 2008 car tomorrow with the big wing on the back of the splitter. Loved the look of it. Wasn't brilliant for racing, but I absolutely loved the look of that car. Big fan. Probably one of the only people that loved that look of that car. But I remember as a kid drawing that design. Whenever I draw a car, everybody says, "Oh, this is the type of car you drew as a kid." That's what I always drew as a car tomorrow. But back to this car, Tony Stewart, one of my favorites. To see if they're about his car. If they make a diecast, which they haven't released it yet on Lotto Racing, if they're going to make it or not. If they do, I'm pre-ordering this immediately when I find out. Next, though, we do the trucks here. Derek Kraus doing a throwback to Ron Hornaday. And this is an also paint scheme, Ron Hornaday. Napa paint scheme, I believe. Did he have Napa? I'm assuming he did, if they're saying that. Yeah. I love this paint scheme. I'm assuming if those colors it is. It's absolutely brilliant. Spencer Boyd throwback to Team Onion. Alright, it's an old truck. Team Onion. Stuart Friesen. Can I play this without having audio? I just want to see what the paint scheme looks like, dude. Don't care. Stan Friesen. Okay. It's okay, I guess. Timmy Hill. This is throwback to his dad's number 5 truck. It's interesting with just that little banner there. And it's cool, like this says. Racing trucks at Darlington, that's awesome. This here, Clay Greenfield is doing a throwback to Bobby Hamilton. Oh yeah, I forgot Jeff Hammond's doing stuff as a crew chief. And then we get the GMS trucks here. I'll just click on this and open Twitter and look at it. Because it's a very small image to look at 5 trucks, but we'll do it. Alright, so we got all the cars in the background. So this here's the same like paint scheme that Joe Logano is doing the throwback to. Just a different number in the old one. This is obviously old Wood Brothers throwback. They got the same number. Does anybody gonna tweet what it is? Oh, we got a Ricky Hendrick one. Which one's that? Oh, it says Jack Sprague, not Ricky Hendrick. Okay, I don't know. Is that this one, I'm assuming? Oh, Jeff Gordon off-road truck? Oh, this is the one that Greg Whiffle's driving too. Huh. Bro, that would be iconic. Yeah, it is the Wood Brothers paint scheme on a Chevy. Okay. These schemes are just very, very cool, though. I like it. Everybody's not a... Oh, this isn't... I thought this was going to be there. Okay, that's a Phoenix throwback. Okay. I mean, I think they're cool. Again, some of these paint schemes are okay. I mean, a lot of them don't necessarily stand out to me. Of the trucks, I really like this one here, the number 19. I also do like that 21 truck. Xfinity Series again. Chase Briscoe's the best one. A lot of this here again, they're okay. I liked this one here, the 51. 21's kind of cool. 20's kind of cool, but really, really liked the one here. So the one and the 98. For Cup, again, 88, 48, what other ones did I say stood out to me? 9, 6, 4, and 3. Like, it was kind of cool to see more trucks involved. Obviously, the trucks haven't ran at Darlington for the Throwback weekend, so we haven't seen that as much as a thing, but it's pretty cool to see either way a lot of these throwbacks, and I like it. I like seeing the trucks involved, but I just like it in general. I think that the throwback obviously is a cool thing, and I'm a fan of the concept. I think this year hasn't had as many brilliant throwbacks as we've seen maybe other years, but I like it either way. So that's that. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you guys in the next one.